Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Hey everyone, so happy you can join us for the Love Everyone podcast
with your hosts Govind Das and Rama Chandra Das.
A conversation of love, devotion, and walking the path of Bhakti Yoga.
Jai Shri Ram. Welcome everybody to the Love Everyone podcast. My name is Rama Chandra Das.
Jai Hanuman, dear friends, welcome. So great to be back together. My name is Govind Das, and welcome to episode 15, the Love Everyone podcast. So great to be together. How you doing, brother?
Oh, doing pretty good, man. Everything's groovy.
Good.
Just enjoying our Hanuman Chalisa sadhana in the morning, and it's great to. I don't know. It's so weird because even though I haven't seen you, but I feel like it's great to have you back in the U.S.
Oh,
I don't know if they just. I have a sense that you're closer.
Sense. Well, I'm here, and it's wonderful. We're loving life, and I have like mixed emotions. Last night, we'd been here for almost 3 weeks, but all of my clothes were still just in suitcases and all this kind of stuff. And I built some dressers and put my clothes into the dressers yesterday. And I was like, oh, I'm not, quote unquote, on the road anymore. That means I'm like really grounded. I'm not living out of a suitcase anymore. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful to have a home, and I think it's good for the kids and life.
Well, it sounds like you're going to pull that suitcase out in just a couple of days again.
I am. Yeah, I'm pulling it out tomorrow, actually, to head on the road. I'll be in Jackson Hole, Wyoming this weekend for a weekend of Bhakti events.
Nice.
And India's coming up in just a little over a month as well too. So that is getting me really excited, and I think we're going to see each other there. Is that correct?
That's the plan. I'll be in Vrindavan on the 28th.
So I will see you
there.
there.
Still there, right?
Yes, and me and my buddy Prapat, who's coming on the retreat, we planted a seed that on the morning of the 30th, and we'd love to have you come. We're going to do the Govardhan Parikram.
Wow.
What do you think?
Is it 50 kilometers?
I think it's 23 kilometers.
Yeah. 23 kilometers.
Which is what, 12, 13, 14 miles?
Yeah. So are you going to just walk it, or are you going to do pranams the whole way?
Just walk.
Just
walk. If my legs will hold up, maybe crawl at that.
Ooh, that's a pretty what's your shoe choice for something like that? Because I wear nothing but flip-flops in India, but now, and I was thinking, if you're thinking 12 miles.
Flip-flops, you got to go barefoot.
You gonna go barefoot?
I don't know.
I
usually wear Birks. They give my foot a little support.
Yeah, my knees barefoot. I think maybe in the old days when it was all dirt.
Yeah, sweet soft sand.
Most of it, I imagine, is pavement at this point.
Yeah, I do think there's a good part of Govardhan Parikram that's still that beautiful dust of Raj. Wow. So what do you think? You in?
I mean, at this point,
right now.
How could I say no, really? So what is I mean, come on. When did your group finish? The 29th?
We finished the 29th.
The 29th. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we'll see. I'm going to be at the tail end of 2 weeks of Panchakarma.
Oh, that's right.
So, so I should be all rejuvenated, but they also say I don't have any experience, and this is the first time I've done this kind of lengthy Panchakarma situation, but they kind of are like, take it easy when it's all over,
Mm.
and I'm like, oh, I'm going straight to Vrindavan.
I've been taking it easy for 2 weeks. I'm ready to get out and party. I need to join the kirtan party.
I know. As I was booking my Panchakarma, I was like, oh, I could just tag along with Govindas with his group and sing kirtan the whole time.
I like that idea.
I know. It's pretty tempting, but I did put
And
my deposit down and
great.
buy my plane ticket to Coimbatore.
Mm,
I don't know how you say that, but Coimbatore, South India
mm.
is the
And are
closest.
you going for specific health issues or just to rest deeply?
Like a detox,
Yeah.
really, digital detox. Like I'm gonna turn off my phone and turn off my computer and just rest,
Mm.
something I've just never done and I've wanted to do for so long.
Oh, that's great. That's
I mean, when's the last time you didn't have your phone on for 2 weeks?
jeez.
Or how was the last time you didn't have your phone on for 24 hours?
And doesn't it seem like, I mean, it seems like since COVID, like more and more we're just addicted to these damn devices.
Yeah.
Like more of life is just dependent upon these devices. But
Well, not just the device. Yeah, I mean, it's all getting, and it's happening so fast too.
yeah.
Now with like AI and everything is just exploding, right?
Well, let's not go into AI again.
We're not going to go into AI. We're not going to go into AI, but what's interesting though is I think like this bhakti and devotional practice and yoga and everything. It's like we're looking for something. I think it's interesting though, this word AI is artificial intelligence, right? And then like what we're going for with yoga is like the opposite of artificial intelligence, right?
Well, that's what, remember Saul, he makes that joke. He says AI, ancient intelligence.
Ancient intelligence. Well,
Ancient
that's it.
intelligence. That's what
Right.
we're going for.
OG AI.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Ogai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But I
you
mean,
know, the technology, I mean, you turn on it. I don't know about you, but my feed is just like kirtan, Neem Karoli Baba, more kirtan, Krishna, Hanuman, and it just keeps going. Like, so there's something really beautiful about that as well, too.
oh, well, I mean, for sure, if you can get that algorithm tuned in just right,
It's entirely up to you. It depends on what you like.
Oh man.
Be very careful what you like.
Yeah, no
Your
kidding, man.
will support
Clickbait. Clickbait is real.
that. Whatever you like will start showing up.
Like, how did this show up in my suggested reels?
I know how.
I don't remember clicking on anything like this.
I don't even think it's just liking. I think if you spend a certain amount of seconds.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but there was, I guess, one day I clicked on a couple of like cliff jumping videos.
No,
that's all I get is
guys doing really wild stuff.
Just jumping off, yeah, crazy cliffs, like into like mountain rivers, and like, yeah, I'm telling you. And then I can't help it. Now I see something, it'll be like a little suggested reel, it'll be like some doing backflips off of a mountain into a little stream or something, and I'm like, I'm riveted by it. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm trying to break that algorithm there, but I suppose that's better than some of the things that I could be clicking on.
True.
Anyway, so hey, why don't we just dive into it today?
Okay,
You wanna open us up with some prayers?
let's do it. We invoke the Guru first, always in bhakti, to help us get out of the way. Make space for grace. So we'll chant a few lines from the Guru Stotram. I'll chant the Sanskrit, and Rama Chandra Das Ji will chant or read the English. Om Akanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who revealed to me the supreme truth, which is unfragmented, infinite, timeless divinity, and which pervades the entire universe.
Jnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who opened my eyes, which had been blinded by the darkness of ignorance, by applying the divine ointment of self-knowledge.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Guru is the creator, sustainer, and the destroyer. Guru is directly the supreme spirit, both manifest reality and the absolute. My reverential salutations to the glorious Guru who resides in the heart of all beings as the true self.
Hari Om Bolo Shri Sat Gurudev Baba Neem Karoli Santa Maharaj Ki.
Jai.
Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman. How wonderful that we are actually recording this podcast on Mangalavar. Usually we seem to record on a different day and release them on Mangalavar. But today is Mangalavar. So to have a conversation about Hanuman and the Chalisa and Sri Ram and Sita and today Bharat, what a blessing it is.
So why don't you make sure everybody knows what Mangalavar is?
Mangalavar is Hanuman Day. Tuesday is the day governed by the planet Mangala, which is Mars, which it's said now, believe me, I don't know so much about Jyotish or astrology, but it's said that Tuesdays can, if you especially have Mars in your charts, it can be bring quite challenging things into your life. And if you invoke Hanuman and chant the Chalisa and keep your Hanuman Bhakti going, Hanuman protects us against the possible challenging influences of the planet Mars.
And isn't that funny that Hanuman is Mangala Murati, and Mangala also means auspiciousness and favorability. And so it's kind of an interesting dichotomy, isn't it? That Mars is the planet that represents war and conflict. And yet at the same time, that same word Mangala, which describes Mars, also means auspiciousness as well. And so and it said that Hanuman is the form, the Murati, like the Murti, his form itself is auspicious. So I think there's that layer there too.
Yes, but the knowing that Hanuman Bhaktas are protected against those potential negative influences gives me quite a bit of solace, actually. They say like you shouldn't start things on Mangalavar or travel on Mangalavar. I think I've heard, because you should keep Mangalavar as a day for devotion and prayer and sadhana, actually. Not that I always do that, but so I've heard that. Yeah.
Wow. And this protecting idea is making me think of the Hanuman Chalisa, as they say that the Hanuman Chalisa is a shield of protection, like Hanuman's great shield of protection. So that's why on Mangalavar, we like to often chant 11 Hanuman Chalisas. We talked a lot about 11. We talked about it last week. We talked about it on the 11th episode. We love talking about 11. We don't need to talk about 11 again, I don't think.
Well, here, 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. That's just, it's oneness to the one.
It's oneness to the one.
Oneness to the one.
I like that.
To the first degree.
So today, how amazing, we're going to introduce another line and reflect on another line, and it's Mangalavar that we're doing this. So
Wow.
Shall we dive in? Let's
please do it. I think
Okay.
you're gonna let us know what we're talking today.
I think this is your favorite line.
It's definitely one of my favorites.
I think this is your favorite.
You do?
I do.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I just think this is your favorite.
I get pretty excited.
You talk about this line, you get a lot. You get really jazzed up.
Wow, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. There's, that it's interesting. There's not any like promises in here, but there's some real dharma inside.
I think so.
All right. Greatly did the Raghu Lord praise you, saying, brother, you are as dear to me as my brother Bharat. Greatly did the Raghu Lord praise you, saying, brother, you are as dear to me as my brother Bharat. Raghupati kinhi bahuta barai, tuma mama priya bharata hi samabai. One more time. Raghupati kinhi bahuta barai, tuma mama priya bharata hi samabai. Greatly did the Raghu Lord praise you, saying, brother, you are as dear to me as my brother Bharat. Look at that big smile on your face just hearing this line.
Hey, come on. Don't kid yourself. You love this line too.
I love this line too. We love every line, single line.
It's true. I have 40 favorite lines in Chalisa. Well, in fact, 43 favorite lines.
44 with the Mangalamurti.
Oh my gosh. 45 if you had to see about Rama Chandra.
And then, of course, some Sri Ram, Jai Rams, and Sita Rams.
Oh, that's my favorite.
47 at least. And then a Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai.
Oh my gosh. Sita Ram. How is it that just 3-4 syllables, Sita Ram? How can it be so delicious? And how many times, innumerable, incalculable amount of times that you have chanted that simple mantra, and that I've chanted that simple mantra, and yet I never tire of it. In fact, it's the opposite. It just becomes more and more and more and more and more thrilling to me. And I want to chant Sita Ram more and more and more with every repetition. And it never seems like a Sita Ram chant is ever long enough. It's always like, why did you end? Well, it's because we've been chanting for 30 minutes. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, the first time I ever heard Sita Ram being chanted, I had this feeling like, I just want to chant this the rest of my life. These 3 syllables. You know what I felt? Electric.
Hey, everybody, if you haven't heard episode 14, maybe you want to stop right now, go back to episode 14, because that was a good one. That was a real good one. It's entitled Electric Bliss.
Electric bliss.
So speaking of electric bliss, that was kind of what we thought maybe what it might feel like to get a hug from God, to get a hug from Ram. And because that's what happened in the last line is, and this line that you just shared with us today, Govindas, is a continuation of yesterday's line. And well, not yesterday, last week, Hanuman brought the Sanjeevani herb to revive Lakshman on the battlefield. And Ram was so overjoyed with Hanuman's service that he embraced him. And he's still in this embrace. He says to Hanuman, "Brother, you are as dear to me as my own brother Bharat." And we talk so much about the devotee, God and the devotee, and that relationship. And so often I feel like that that relationship feels like, big God, little devotee, and there's so much separation, and there can be this profound love and everything, but there still seems to be this feeling of like one is so much bigger, so much more grand than the other. And here in this moment, like, I feel like Ram is, by comparing him to his own brother Bharat, in some levels, on one level, he's essentially saying, "You're my brother." And when we're talking about like a relationship between siblings, there's like a presumed, maybe one sibling is more talented at this, or one sibling is more talented at that, but there's all this kind of this presumed, equanimity, between brothers. In fact, when we, when you and I look at each other and say, "Hey, it's nice to see you, brother Das," that connection point, right, is like it has this sense of equality, or neither is on a pedestal above the other kind of thing. And when we say that to our friends, we say, "Hey, brother," to anybody that we say that to. It's funny because once I was, in an ashram with a really wonderful teacher in India, and I'd been there for a while, and I developed really like very familial, easy conversational relationship with him. And on the last day, as I was saying goodbye, I gave him a big hug, and I was like, "See you later, brother." And and all of his devotees were all standing around, and they were like, there's kind of like a little bit of because I just called him brother, So when Hanuman gets referred to in this way by Ram, by God, considers Hanuman his brother, it's just such a profound, like, I can't think of any more praise that Ram could give Hanuman, and then to lift him up to that level. And Bharat, we could go on and on and on and on and on about Bharat, who is Ram's brother, one of Ram's three brothers. We learned about Lakshman yesterday, and then last week, and then there's Bharat, and then now, and then there's one more called Shatrughna. And I got this question for you. Maybe you have some thoughts. It's a little bit of a segue, but why does Shatrughna not get more to do in Ramayana? I feel like he's a little bit kind of just left behind.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know much about Shatrughna.
But they don't talk about him hardly at
No.
all. He has a bit of an episode in the final, Uttarakhand, in the final chapter, where he goes off and kills a demon and who's been wreaking havoc on this city, and he becomes the king of that city. And but it's a very short episode, and it's way after the whole Leela, the whole story of Ram and Sita and Ravana has happened. And like I used to be an actor, and when I look at that, I always think Shatrughna is the part you don't want to get.
Wait, you were an actor? No. Were you in any big movies or anything?
Where I was, I think you can ask me if I was any good.
I'm sure you were good. I'm sure you were good.
No, I wasn't in any big movies. Come on,
Commercials?
What's that?
Commercials?
No. I did mostly theater, and I mostly did theater. And
theater.
Yeah, I was trained at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. It was called Lambda. And,
sounds very good.
Yes, that's my received pronunciation British accent, which is what classical theater actors are trained to speak in.
Very pompous.
No, posh. No, not
posh.
pompous. Pompous is maybe your American point of view.
Very proper. It's
proper. It's very proper. Yes, it's very proper. But
it's not like bro.
It's not like bro.
Dude.
Bro, dude.
Or even
I don't even
brother.
think you can. I don't even think you can say bro in, let's see, in received pronunciation. Dude. It always. How do you say dude in received? Anyway, but let's not get too sidetracked by that, everybody. I was always thinking though, like Shatrughna is the part you don't want to get though, because you're just going to stand there. I mean, you're going to beg for a line, you're always just going to, you're basically be like an extra, and there's like all kinds of parts in Shakespeare like that too, where you're in the play, you've got like one or two lines, you're in all the scenes, but you just don't say anything. You just don't say anything, and you got a name, and you're maybe even like one of the king's brothers or something like that. But just Shatrughna is like, if you're trying out for one of the brothers, you're like, please don't give me Shatrughna. I got some good news and some bad news.
Well, but you are Ram's brother.
You are Ram's brother. Yeah, well,
massive blessings.
There are massive blessings, but you'd have to be an actor and a bhakta. But if you're just an actor who's just trying out for this part, and you're not really a bhakta, you're just like, oh man, I read the script. There's no lines. Anyway, I just have always wondered, what's up with Shatrughna? I think, maybe we need a new Ramayana told from the POV of Shatrughna. What's he thinking this whole time? Like when, so in this, just brief little Reader's Digest version is that Ram gets exiled on the evening of his coronation because of some court intrigue, and because his father is required to give this boon to Bharat's mother. And so Ram and Lakshman go out into the jungle for 14 years, and Bharat stays back in Ayodhya to rule Ayodhya, but he won't become the king. He refuses to become the king, but he rules from a little village outside of Ayodhya, because he's like, well, if Ram's not going to be in Ayodhya and he's going to be living in the jungle, well, so am I. And so he lives in this little hut, and he rules Ayodhya from there. And Ram and Lakshman are off in the jungle with Sita. What's Shatrughna doing this whole time? Is he just hanging out in the palace, like just being, just living.
His feet kicked up.
His feet are kicked up. And he's like,
sipping on something sweet.
yeah, I always wonder, like, is it so because is he hanging out with Bharat? I mean, he and Bharat were sort of inseparable, like Lakshman and Ram were inseparable. Bharat and Shatrughna were said to be inseparable as well, but there's never any talk of like Shatrughna also out there, in the village and living in the hut with is he like, hey, I totally get what you're saying, Bharat. I totally feel you. I think you're, it's very dharmic what you're doing, but like, I'm gonna be in the palace. I don't know. It's just, and not even a one little line where there's like, and there's also Shatrughna living in the hut with Bharat, or something. It's not even a little sliver of information. So anyway, if anybody else out there knows what Shatrughna was up to that whole 14 years, please let us know. So what do you think about this line? Now that
I think this line is so important, because if you trace the words and the meaning back, it really is. I can't, if I'm just reflecting on the Chalisa as a whole, the only line that really is giving us a glimpse into Ram's exile into the forest. And this is such a major part and pivotal part of Ramayana and the history of the earth as we know it, because Ram was sent into the forest. This is, where and how and why Mother Sita was, kidnapped by Ravana, and ultimately, Hanuman flies across the ocean to find Sita, and ultimately brings the news back, and the bridge was built, and the war was fought, and Ram defeated Ravana, and he fulfilled his mission of being an avatar and coming to earth, and killed Ravana, and the light forces, right, beat the dark forces. Ram defeated Ravana, and the earth was rid of this demon who was terrorizing, and bringing the scales had tipped in favor of darkness with his presence and ruling. So this is such a pivotal time. And, I think I love this Leela. And I think there's so much in this for us, that when Ram was sent into the forest, no one could understand it. It looked so just wrong. It didn't look right. But Ram knew he had to follow his father's word, because his father's word was law, as it was back then. And Dasarat knew he had to follow his word, which was giving Kaikeyi boons. So everyone honored their dharma, and Ram was exiled, and the whole city of Ayodhya was so angry and confused and heartbroken that their beloved Ram was not going to be the king, as he was supposed to be coronated that very day. And he was sent into the forest for 14 years. And of course, Mother Sita said, I must go with you. Lakshman said, I must go with you. And the Leela, within that Leela, that's where Ravana, of course, abducted Sita. And it just is such a metaphor for our lives. I mean, that things happen, destiny takes place, and we can't understand it. We have no ability to comprehend why. But then, whether it's a month later, 6 months later, a year later, you see, this was the divine design. And that had to take place for me to get where I am right now. And we don't have many teachings about that. We don't have, this mantra challenges our gifts in disguise. Nobody ever teaches us that. So there's, I think, something very, very important for us in this particular line. And along with the brotherly love, I mean, this is what we talk about so much. What do you think about this concept of brotherly love, the love between these two?
Well, not just these two, all four of them.
Our four.
The example of these four brothers, and how much they love each other, and how, in this story, when Ram is told, Ram has been, brought up his whole life knowing that he's going to become the king. And all of his brothers, love him unconditionally, and he loves them in the same way. And they grow up together. They're these magical brothers. They excel at everything. They're good at their studies. They're good at archery. They're the best at all of these things. The most remarkable children, and they grow up with like no competitive spirit between them, except for like, oh, let's compete, of course, in this little archery competition. But if Bharat wins one day and Ram wins the next day, nobody's upset about it. But Ram's brought up to be the king. On the eve of his coronation, his father tells him about these boons that he has to give Kaikeyi, who is Bharat's mother. And those two boons are, you have to go to the forest for 14 years and Bharat has to be made the king. And Ram's first words are, Bharat will be a great king. How
you mean he wasn't upset? Like, what? I'm not going to be the king. You're giving this to my brother.
He wasn't upset at all. His first thought was
he didn't want the power. He didn't
he didn't care at all about the power. He said Bharat will be a great king. And then Bharat, unfortunately, one of the twists of this whole story is that Bharat wasn't even in town when this was all happening. So Bharat wasn't even there to speak his mind. But his first words were, great, Bharat will make a great king. And then his next words were like, I love the jungle. I love the animals. I love the villagers. I love the rishis living in the ashrams. I'll be happy there. Great. So how crazy is that? And then when he told Lakshman was like, well, I love you so much, Ram, that it would be a torture to be here in Ayodhya without you, even though, of course, there's, sweet drinks and comfortable palaces and all the, pomp and circumstance that goes into being a prince of a very powerful king. And so Lakshman just makes the very quick and easy decision to give up his whole life in order to be with Ram. And when Bharat comes home to discover Ram is gone, and unfortunately, even his father Dasarath has died from the sadness of having to be separated from Ram and having to put his children through this whole drama. And when Bharat comes home to find his father gone, and Kaikeyi celebrating, saying, look what I've done for you, I've got you this throne, Bharat's first thought is, I don't want the throne. It's supposed to be Ram's. Why have you done this? And the dharma that they all show towards like what the right thing. None of them ever seem to make a choice based on their own personal selfish desires. It's always based on like what's right. So even when everybody, the ministers and everybody's saying, hey, Bharat, we need a king. King Dasarath's dead. Ram is gone. He's not coming back for 14 years. We need a king. We need you to step up and be the king. And he's like, never before in the whole line of my of the all the kings that have gone before me in my lineage has a younger brother usurped the throne from an elder brother while the elder brother is still alive. So he's like, I can't do it. I can't be the king. So he goes off into the jungle to go and find Ram and with the goal of bringing him back. And Ram, of course, says, well, I can't do that because then that would be me breaking my word to my father. And they come up with the agreement that Bharat will rule in the meantime before Ram comes back. But Tulsidas, who wrote the Hanuman Chalisa, also wrote his very devotional version of Ramayana called Ramcharitmanas. He spends the whole story is about 1,000 pages in my version. The Gita Press version that I have is about 1,000 pages, and Tulsidas spends 150 pages extolling the virtues of Bharat, telling this very, very short episode in terms of plot, but he spends 150 pages praising Bharat. That how dharmic is Bharat, how pure is Bharat that he could turn down the throne of Ayodhya just to do the right thing. And it's like, when I think about the competition between men in today's day and age, and the backbiting and the and how many stories go back to Shakespeare, how many stories are there of like a brother or a cousin killing each other so they can so they can get the throne, and how willing people are to do those kinds of things in order to gain power. And then you see this example of these brothers and the amount of love that they have for each other. And here Tulsidas is bringing Hanuman into that fold. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I just keep thinking of the divine orchestration of it all, that yes, it was like divinity was designing this whole thing so that Ram could defeat Ravana. And we don't see this, but divinity is designing our life as well too, so that we can do our dharma and fulfill our purpose here on earth, whatever that may be. So there's such it gives us an opportunity. And this is what I love about the Eastern mystical traditions. Over and over, we see this. It gives us an opportunity to access an expanded state of consciousness that I never felt so much from the Western traditions, although maybe it's there. I just didn't know how to look at them or wasn't taught them in that particular way. So I think this concept of Leela taking place, the play of God through the human realm, so that this divinity's orchestration of an unfolding can take place,
There's
is
so much of
really cool.
so much of that in this story of Ramayana, right? Of like Ram making these choices over and over and over. I think we're so trapped in the West with like the pleasure. We want everything to feel good, right? We just want it. It's like if it doesn't feel right, then it's not right, And I think there's so many examples of like in the Ramayana of Ram making a decision that maybe doesn't like isn't like the best for him personally, but feels like the best dharmic choice that he can make. And then you see this with Bharat and Lakshman as well, making these kinds of choices. Even when Sita chooses to come with Ram to the forest, she's walking away from the palace as well. She's stepping away from the cushions and the comfortable life that she has, because she knows her dharma is to be with Ram. And I remember once Jai Uttal told a story a little bit about he said he was talking to Siddhi Ma one time about how oftentimes he doesn't feel all blissful, and he about kind of complaining about how much sort of anxiety he still experiences and things like this. And I read this, by the way, on a public forum, so I'm not sharing anything too personal, because Jai shared this as well. But and Siddhi Ma said, "Why are you talking about like how you're feeling?" He's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, you are a sevak. You're doing service, and service doesn't always feel good."
Hmm.
And that was kind of like, for me, when I heard that, it was kind of like a moment. And it was, I think it was for Jai too, which is why he was telling the story. It's like we was in the West, we're so convinced that life is supposed to be this nonstop like comfort zone.
Yeah, we've been indoctrinated. It's materialism, but it's taken a whole new level in the last 20, 30 years, that everything is supposed to feel so cush all of the time. But this is really interesting. And me and one of my brothers, Johnny Holiday, the other day, were having a great discussion about this, that when you step onto the spiritual path, you are going to be, I think, God, source, spirit will bring you challenges more so, but you suddenly start looking at those as gifts in disguise, because those are ripe opportunities for growth to take place. So it's a real pivotal point in spiritual development, when things don't feel good, to actually look underneath them and okay, why is there some rub right here? What is this getting at? And instead of running away from those things, actually turning towards these types of things, because we know there's something in there that's going to help us grow. I want to read this because he actually, after this conversation, he sent me this quote from Yogananda. This is Paramahansa Yogananda. "Do not neglect God for work, nor neglect work for God. Your being a very busy person does not justify your forgetting God. Devotees on the spiritual path have even more tests than those who follow a material path. So don't use your worldly obligation as an excuse to ignore God." I'm too busy.
Too busy for
For God.
spiritual things. Yeah. Wow.
But I really like that little part that says people on the spiritual path are going to be challenged, maybe even more so than if you're just following a material.
Well, I think so. Think of how many times we pray and we say, God, help me grow. And God says, okay, I'll help you grow. I will give you a challenge
Mm.
that you can overcome, because that's the only way you're going to grow. And that's why I always laugh when people call Ganesha the remover of obstacles, because a more appropriate way to describe him is the Lord of obstacles.
Lord of obstacles.
And he will place obstacles just as often. And then you are the remover.
Suddenly I just became a little afraid of Ganesh because he places up. Oh, Ganesh, I just thought he was going to remove everything. And I pray to him, everything is easy and good and cush.
No, he wants us to develop our wisdom and our discernment. And that's how do we overcome obstacles? We make discernments. We go, oh, I should go around it, or I should go under it, I should go over it. I should,
I need to
I should
change
run
my diet. I need to
well, whatever.
make life adjustments.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's a growth, moment. And if when we're praying, if we're not really ready for those challenges to come, when we pray to God, we shouldn't say, help me grow. We should just say, make my life comfortable and easy.
Real straight up, man.
Make me feel good all the time. So yeah, be careful what you pray for, everybody. That's for sure. Wow. So
well, this is such a marvelous conversation.
it is.
Why do we always want to be comfortable all the time? Why are we so afraid of something not feeling good?
Well, here's something that I heard recently that I really like is we want comfort so bad, right? And it's such a part of our like DNA, because it's almost like when we're comfortable, it's like we feel safe, right? Like we found the shelter from the storm, or we found that place, that cave that the animals can't come and kill us or whatever. And but life is full of uncomfortable situations. So the yogic practice is learn how to be comfortable with the discomfort.
Yeah. This is if we can just do that. I was just thinking as well too, like comfort, something is so root chakra about that.
Yeah.
And we're in this Kali Yuga where everything is so just, so much change. And so maybe this is why in this Kali Yuga, everybody's so addicted to comfort, because it gives a sense of security, but on some level, it's a false sense of security, because at least from the Bhakti perspective, the only true security is taking refuge in the divine.
That's it. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita,
only true security.
I am the only true friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your house can be burned down, all your nice clothes, all your money, everything can go.
Wait a second. You were talking about your house. Were you talking about your nice clothes?
Every drop of it, everything can be gone in a second.
I didn't know you had any nice clothes. I'm just kidding.
Bunch of t-shirts and board shorts.
Sweatpants, t-shirts.
A couple nice flowery Indian
shirts.
A few
kurtas. Yeah, a few kurtas.
But what can't be taken is your connection to Hanuman or Sri Ram, or Krishna or Jesus or Allah or Adonai, whatever name you want, universe, spirit, source, whatever name, however you relate to it.
And interestingly enough, just to bring us back to Bharat, it's like the only time that Ram, like one of the most emotional moments for Ram is seeing Bharat suffer. Mm-hmm. Not losing his palace, not losing his throne, not having to live in the jungle, none of those things, which were all the material aspects of Ram's life. But his connection, the love that he had in his heart for his brother Bharat, and when he saw how much Bharat was suffering. I mean, it's bringing tears to my eyes just thinking about it. When he saw how much Bharat was suffering from the separation and from having to do something that he felt was beyond him ultimately, because it just ultimately felt so wrong to him that he would have to rule Ayodhya when it was supposed to be Ram. That's like one of the most emotional moments of the entire story, is that final departure from Ram, from Bharat has to go back to the city and Ram goes deeper into the forest, and their final farewell there is the most emotional moment. And so emotional that Bharat even says, if you're not back, like the day 14 years are over, I'm going to kill myself. that's how emotional it was. So
Oh,
yeah. There's a lot here, but
there's so much.
We probably should make a few minutes to take our hit of the day.
What? Take our hit of the day? What are you talking about?
We're going to take a small hit of LSD.
I thought we were going to take a big hit today.
I didn't want to scare anybody off. I didn't want to scare anybody away, but yeah, we're going to take a full hit. We'll take, it's not a big one. It's not a small one, but it's a full hit.
Full hit of LSD.
Full hit of LSD.
All right. You got anything going on the rest of the day?
Well, the good news is the kind of LSD that we like to take here at the Love Everyone podcast is it works really well with anything you need to do. In fact, everything that you do in life, this is an ancient teaching. This is ancient intelligence.
This is AI.
This is some AI, some ancient intelligence. Is that if you do everything under the influence of LSD, it makes everything so much better.
You will be successful.
You
will be happy,
contented, you're peaceful,
dharmic.
Everything. So, I mean, I think the Bhagavad Gita spends a lot of time talking about, do everything under the influence of LSD. Doesn't it?
Yes.
He doesn't use those
words. I just heard some Krishna Bhaktas getting very upset at you saying that.
But the good news is there's no Krishna Bhaktas listening to us right
now. Krishna Balaram.
I know. No, but doesn't a Krishna devotee think Krishna's a little better?
Wow. Doesn't a Ram devotee think Ram's a little better?
No, Hanuman's better.
But then the Krishna Bhakta says Hanuman's just a demigod.
Yeah. Why do you worship a demigod?
Why do you worship a demigod?
When you could worship Krishna, the real God.
They are all the real. They are all the real.
Yeah, so and listen, if there are any Krishna devotees, we love Krishna and we love you. We're just teasing around a little bit here, but anyway, so
I'm getting a little anxious. I want to take this LSD.
All right, well, so
what kind you got? What strain you got? Who created?
Well, this is the love, service, and devotion strain of LSD, the OG LSD, and specifically, this is the Shamdas LSD.
Oh, Shamdas LSD.
Yeah, Shamdas. Hey, well, that's perfect because we were just talking about Krishna. Sham's a name for Krishna. And so this is an amazing bhakta by the name of Shamdas, who I never got to meet. He passed away right before, just right as, what year did he pass away? Do you remember?
Right before you got on the scene.
Yeah. Right.
I think it was 2014.
Probably didn't even know there was a scene.
Yeah. I think it
What?
was 2014,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first year I went to Bhakti Fest was
Oh,
2015 or something. So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Sham Das, who I know is a dear teacher of yours, Govind
Yeah.
Das, and of many, many, many people here, especially in the West, on the path. And he said, the beloved is not far away. The beloved is the breath within the breath, the sound within the sound, the love within the love. To know this is to live in bhakti. Let me read it one more time so you can let that LSD really soak in. The beloved is not far away. The beloved is the breath within the breath, the sound within the sound, the love within the love. To know this is to live in bhakti. Got any thoughts about this?
Yes. First of all, I realize I'm just wearing the shirt today that says "Find the Beloved," and there's a picture of Shamdas.
Oh, look at him. He's in the bob.
Those of
Totally.
y'all
Look
that are
at that.
watching on YouTube.
Mm.
Yeah, Shamdas, I probably learned as much about bhakti and or at least living bhakti
Mm.
from Shamdas as much as anybody, because I first started going to India in 1999 and went pretty much every year after that. And Shamdas was always in Vrindavan, always at Maharaji's ashrams. And he would always just say, hey, come with me, come. And so I would just follow him wherever he would go. And whether it was to a kirtan or to an ashram or to hear a teacher speak. And Shamdas was so interesting because where he was so big, his personality was so big, and he was a very rare that in a white person in Vrindavan, everybody would gather around him because he spoke Hindi fluently, and he would just was so attracted to him because his energy was so filled with charisma and love, most importantly, love for Krishna. And Shamdas went to India with the early wave of Western devotees and was a devotee of Maharaji. And after Maharaji passed away, he stayed in Braj and began to follow what's called the Pushti Marg. The Pushti Marg, it means the path of grace. And it's at the same time that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living, there was another great teacher named Sri Vallabhacharya.
Mm.
And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so famous because of ISKCON, but people don't know so much. Sri Vallabhacharya was famous all throughout ISKCON as well too. And Shamdas followed this path of Pushti Marg, this path of grace, following the teachings of Sri Vallabhacharya. And Shamdas was just on fire with devotion, man. His heart was so lit up in love, and he was, you know what he was? He was intoxicated.
Mm.
Was just intoxicated with bhav always. So to be around him, you felt that and you wanted more, and he gave it to you. And his kirtan, I don't know if you've ever listened, but if you have the chance, he's got some great kirtan on Spotify. It was just so loose and open and spontaneous, and he's a very, very special being in the history, especially of Westerners coming to this path of bhakti.
Mm.
And I think it was this statement that he makes here is the way he lived, that the presence of God is the breath inside of the breath. It's here, it's everywhere, it's always, it's every moment there. It's not somewhere else. And when you really get that, he lived bhakti, as this quote says. When you get that, you live bhakti, that your heart will light up in devotion. And he lived that way. He was such a living embodiment of devotion, and really different than many of the other. What I've loved about Shyam Das, he was so India, and we've talked about this on previous episodes. He wore turbans, and he wore kurtas, and he wore dhotis, and he walked barefoot through Vrindavan, and he wasn't pushing away or hiding his love for all things India, which I just was really attracted to as well. So, but I think more so than anything was his heart was on fire. And I think because in this quote, because he had the realization that the presence of Krishna, the presence of God is everywhere and everything. And that lit him up. So what do you think, brother? What do you
This
feel
just,
about this?
this just reminds me so much of this great teaching that it's all within us. We touched on this last week as well, that we're so conditioned to look outside of ourselves for everything, whether that's and not just on a spiritual level, but like our just our happiness is going to come from the stuff that we have, or that God is somewhere up there, and we're hopefully, maybe if we live a good life, that when we die we're going to get to go up there to where God is, and that's ultimately, that's fine for a lot of people, but for a bhakta, we want to feel that. I want to feel that connection now. I want to feel that unity and that union with Hanuman, with Ram now. I don't want to wait, and that's why kirtan is so beautiful, is because it brings you right there, and but this is such an important thing to remember, and to try to embrace, and of course, uh, as much as I feel intoxicated from time to time, that living in bhakti, that full-time living in bhakti that you're describing when you're describing Shyam Das's life, and that like full-time intoxication, uh, this is something that still feels, uh, like a long way away for me. But boom, I read this and I'm like, it's not a long way away at all. It's right here. It's in every breath. It's in, even that sense of me feeling like, oh, well, Shyam Das is more intoxicated, than I'll ever be, kind of thing, or whatever, is me thinking it's over there. Oh, Shyam Das has got it, or Krishna Das has got it, or whoever, that saint over there, he's got it. What they have is just the realization. Because what Shyam Das is saying here to me is like, it's in every breath. It's right in my heart. And it's so interesting how I can even have that knowledge and then still see it as outside. By looking at it, oh, but he has it more, and I find that really, really fascinating kind of riddle in terms of the spiritual path. But yeah, there's nowhere to look. It's all, the beloved is right here all the time, just like we talk about it with Hanuman. He's everywhere all the time. It's omnipresent. There's nowhere that Hanuman is not. And that's just, and I think what he's saying is if we can live in that, if we can remember that, then we are living in bhakti. So then every time we Take a breath. There's that prana. There's Prana Dev. There's Hanuman.
Mm.
You know, and when are we going to stop looking outside of ourselves? I don't know. But Shamdas is reminding me right now.
I love how he uses this word beloved
Mm-hmm.
for divinity, because it's such a bhakti and devotional way that we are the lover and beloved is divinity, and we are like, the game is the union. It's another way of speaking about yoga between the Atman and Brahman, like the self, the inner self, and the universal self.
Mm-hmm.
But to call it the beloved, there is, in that, there's heart. And that's why this is the path of the heart. Because in the path of the heart, love is supreme. And the beloved is who we seek to have this dance with, this
Yeah.
this romance with. There's the languaging of beloved and bhakti, and the divine romance, as it's and has been spoken about. It makes it juicy. It makes it nectarous. It takes any dryness out of this particular path.
You know what? It puts a little bit of ownership, or a little personal responsibility, or choice, because we always, like in Western, we think of like, God loves you, it's like, but from the bhakti point of view, it's like, no, you love God. That's the path. You loving God, not sitting around like expecting God to love you, but you chasing God, and that's why those wonderful Leela with Radha and Krishna, chasing each other, and then and then Krishna being chased by Radha, and then Krishna turning back and looking, where is she? And now she's disappeared, and him now looking for her. And then she appears and lets herself be caught. And then she turns and Krishna's gone. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful, example of what you're talking about. Just that God is not just some, being that we can't associate with, that just loves us and we don't even know how to describe it. But in this case, like, that we are actively pursuing the divine and thinking of the divine in that way, the beloved. That's beautiful.
Oh, right, brother. What do you think?
I think it's time to start wrapping it up. Yeah, but that one really dovetailed nicely with the story of Bharat and Ram as well, though, too, I think, because of how much they love each other. And Ram is Bharat's beloved, but I would say the same thing, in reverse, that the way that Ram feels about Bharat is,
And the inclusion that he feels that way about Hanuman.
yes.
And then Hanuman feels that way about Ram.
Yeah, that's what that was. Hanuman's the devotee, and Ram is God, but yet this wonderful reciprocal vibe in bhakti, isn't there? Just to be seen, and to see, to love and to be loved simultaneously is I think ultimately the magic of bhakti.
Hey, it just reminds me of our friendship and love for each other. I love you, you love me. We're just living that path together, brother. You make me so happy, and I'm so honored to be doing this together.
Tuma
People
Mama.
don't get any wrong ideas when I say
Yeah.
that.
No. I don't get any wrong ideas.
Brotherly friendship.
It's great.
We're just helping each other along the way.
I cherish it so much, my dear brother. Tuma mama priya, paratai samabai. So, let's finish up with some closing prayers, because now we're just Zoom gazing at each other, and
that could be a little weird.
That could start to get weird. All right. Love you so much.
That's
brother.
what was happening in the silence, people listening on Spotify.
Yeah. We were just gazing lovingly into each other's eyes, but not in a weird way.
It was like, I love you, Das.
I love you too, Das. All right, everybody. So let's finish with some closing prayers. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
May all beings, including ourselves, be happy, be well, and be free from suffering. May all of our thoughts and words and actions in some way contribute to that happiness, that well-being, and that freedom from suffering for all, including ourselves, including ourselves, including ourselves.
Love everyone, serve everyone, feed everyone, and remember God.
Rama Chandra ki.
Hey.
Shishi Bharat ki.
Hey.
Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki.
Hey.
Pankata Mochan Hanuman ki.
Jai.
Rama Bhakta Hanuman ki.
Jai.
Shishi Baba Neem Karoli Santa Maharaj Satgurudev Bhagwan ki.
Jai.
Thank you so much, everybody. Episode 15, the Love Everyone podcast.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We look forward to chatting with you again real soon. Jai Hanuman.
Jai Shri Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram.
Jai Ram.